Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. I am Dr. Ndubisi Friday Ugu. I'm the father of a child that was murdered in our apartment. The name of my child is Zina Ugu. Zina stands for Zina Chukudemma Ugu. I'm living in an apartment owned by Mr. Emeka Onishi. The house is located at Umumama village off Oba Road in Soka, where I live peacefully with my family in the apartment. So one evening, I'm working at Federal University. This is something I would have said before. So my family is living in Osaka while I stay in Ekiti. So one night, my wife called me that it's like armed robber had attacked our apartment, and I asked her to shut her phone so that they wouldn't see the lights and probably feel that she is videoing them. So she locked her phone, went inside, only for her to call me back later that it was the boy that is living in our compound that started his destructive behaviors again. This boy is the bodyguard of landlord. Landlord built a hotel, and then since then the behavior changed. He recruited this guy as his bodyguard. The boy was formerly staying in the hotel, and then when a vacancy came when there was vacant in the compound, the landlord brought him home. He takes drug, and most times when he takes the drugs, he starts destroying things, breaking things, the windows everywhere. He starts with his own. Sometimes he will throw his property outside the compound for days, and after that, the landlord will be the one to repay the things. So the day this thing happened, my that this boy have started his disruptive behavior again. I said, just mind your flat, because he stays in the postcode. I said, just mind your flat, lock the house. It's already late in the night, 11:30. But my wife used to pray at 12, so she was just waiting for 12 to, you know, she was waiting for 12 a.m. for her to start her midnight prayers. That was why she knew that something was happening. So I now asked her to just make sure that everywhere is locked. The next thing I heard was that the boy came up to our apartment as directed by she came up with the landlord. He came up with the landlord, the landlady rather. The landlady pointed to our door, and the boy started kicking at our door. I called the landlord to alert him of the development. He said he was already aware that he was already going to the compound. The hotel is just a pull away from the compound. This thing happened on 18th of August last year. So I called the landlord. The landlord said, okay, he was away, already away. I started calling him again when the boy was still kicking on our door, trying to break our iron door. You can imagine what it would take him to break the iron door, and there was no interruption. People did not intervene because the landlord came and was threatening people that if you destroy any, people wanted to come and attack the boy. They gathered in the compound, up to 50 or more in the same compound, tried to save us. The landlord was cautioning them that if anything, anybody should attack anybody in his compound. The boy broke into our apartment. My wife, who was already alarming the whole uh, neighborhood, shouting, calling for help, he was able to escape. She was able to escape with other children. My 4-year-old child was still very much asleep when the assailants entered our apartment. He dragged her. While he was dragging her to where he slaughtered her, my child was even calling him mommy, mommy, hoping that it was mommy because he was still asleep. And he slit my daughter's throat with a knife in the presence of everybody. Nobody saved my family. My wife was shouting, holding the landlord. The landlord did not do anything. The violence we are seeing and the ritual killings and all these things that is going on, if people are not condemning it, all of us are mutually vulnerable. We are mutually vulnerable. And this type of thing must not be allowed to continue. And I wonder where the conscience of certain accused police officers are. And their names are mentioned here. That you keep taking money from someone who has lost a child in this terrible circumstance. And yet, the major suspect or something, justice is not done. So we hope that the one in detention will face proper trial. Everyone have their say, will have their say in court, and that's what we're asking for.
if you are alleged to have committed a crime, you have opportunity to clear your name. But you don't bribe yourself out of the system that you. And even those who are their witnesses living there, once they come to police to write any statement, the police will even arrest them and ask them to bail themselves. So with this intimidation, nobody is ready to come forward. We're not talking of killing by suspected poisoning. We're not talking of killing by maybe accidentally, oh, maybe he pushed, oh, I didn't know that I pushed. We're talking of brutal, deliberate murder of a 4-year-old girl, an innocent child, in front of several people, violated their privacy, entered an apartment that was already locked for the night, took away this child, and brutally slaughtered, we'll call it slaughtered this baby. Shouldn't this really concern any right thinking person to know that this is not a case of bribery or a case you can accept money? So we are calling for justice. We are not saying that the landlord is like guilty as charged. Let him clear, he will have his day in court to clear his name. All we are saying is that police have a duty to do a proper investigation, carry out proper investigation, swift justice, also even for the person facing murder trial. That is not enough that is in detention, that it should be swiftly tried for this couple to have a closure. I don't think it's even a trauma that will leave them.